definitely, because there's ups and downs in everybody's lives, and this is your up time, so take advantage of it while you can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, what
Absolutely.
goes into making an audiobook?
Wow, it's a lot of work. Well, it depends. I've got an audiobook coming out in another 3 weeks by that's not written by me. It's by a Roman Catholic nun, actually, Miriam Therese Winter, and it's called The Singer and the Song. And she was like the American singing nun. So there are 28 songs, so that was a lot of preparation.
Wow.
There are, because she served as a medical mission sister in Kenya and Laos and Cambodia, there were a lot of city names that I had to check with her for the pronunciation of.
Mm-hmm.
There was some Navajo. I had to find a Navajo speaker to send me an MP3 of the word that I needed, so I could at least be respectful.
Right.
So there was about 2 weeks of preparation work before I even arrived at the studio. And then basically you have a script that looks very much like any other script. It's a copy of the book, but usually formatted in larger print with spacing. And you and the director and the engineer, if there is a separate engineer, all have the same scripts with the same page numbers. And you try to speak naturally without making too many mistakes, because every mistake you have to start over in that area.
Right.
And it takes about 5 days to do a book right in there.
Do you ever find yourself wanting to sing the words since you're a singer?
That's funny. I did a book called When Women Were Warriors recently. And there's a, I don't know what you'd call it. It's set in pre-Celtic times, really. It's a historical novel, and there's a section where they're doing the solstice. There I go, bliddling. The solstice ceremony.
It's not an easy word.
No, it's not. And they're all gathered around a fire, and they're saying an incantation that they normally say. And I called the writer and director, and I said, I know I'm not being paid to sing, and I know that we didn't discuss this, but I don't need any more pay to sing. I just can't stand the idea that this has no melody. Do you mind if I go ahead and make a melody? So I made a melody and had a really good time with that.
Ah,
yeah.
That's great that they let you do that.
Yeah, well, it's nice to work with people who respect your process. I think that's the big deal.
Definitely, definitely. Well, would you please tell our listeners more about the Tiny Mouse?
Well, it started with a song about a tiny mouse that was commissioned for a thing called the Boat Project out of the UK. And that is a tiny boat made up of 84 different pieces of wood donated by artists from all over the world. Each piece means something to that artist. And the songs were played, the 12 songs as it wound up, were played as the little boat went down the Thames as part of the opening Olympic ceremonies. So that was an amazing thing to be invited to, because it's only 12 singer-songwriters from all over the world. My little tiny mouse wound up being the piece of wood that I chose to write about. And I was talking with a friend of mine, Ellen Myrick, one day, and she asked, what have you been up to? And I said, I've written this really cool children's song that I just had the best time writing.
Yeah.
She sent it to me, and next thing I knew, she was on the phone screaming that Lemnis Scott Publishing wanted it, and the Schuberts were going to illustrate it. I didn't understand what a big deal that was until I discovered that they had never illustrated a book by anyone else in their lives as illustrators. Yeah. So that was a huge thing for me. And then we got a great starred review in Kirkus with it, and I did the American Library Association convention, got great reviews there. And we're trying very hard to make it accessible to everyone. So that's why the website, if you go to thetinymouse.com, you can download the song, you can download a karaoke version, you can download the music so that if you play, you can play along with it. My dad was a music teacher, and he was fervent in his belief that we should sing because it makes our hearts feel glad. Not because we're going to be famous or because we're good, but because it makes us feel good.
Yeah.
So we put up the karaoke version and a little note on the website that says, please make your own record, please put up your own YouTube video. Have a good time with this. Hoping to.
And you know what? I love that. Speaking of YouTube, that Fiona.
Oh, isn't she great? The videographer's daughter. Yeah, Travis, the videographer, he said he just had his phone with him, and she started dancing to it while he was editing, and he thought, oh, this is so cool looking.
I love it.
Yeah, she's a sweetie, isn't she?
I love it. She is adorable, and you can tell she really enjoys the music a lot.
Yeah, she has a wonderful time dancing to it. She came to the opening day at Parnassus Books, and she was dancing to it then. She was great.
Yeah.
So I'm having a really big time with it. You know, it's a kids thing. I've got a Tiny Mouse hand puppet that a friend made, and I've got little tiny mice that I keep buying on eBay for kids so that they can have finger puppets and sing along, and we have a really good time with it. It's interesting. It's fun.
Yeah, and I think that the more it gets out there, the more you'll see videos made by little kids being in there. I just can't imagine that not happening.
Right.
Maybe I should do that with my G kids when they come over. If you could have seen them, they were just too adorable with it.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. You know, I just want people to have a good time with it.
Mhm. Definitely, and they do. Now, I'm glad you told us a story behind that as far as being from the UK, because David and I had questioned if you had spent time in the UK, because of Lou and drinking grog and
right. Well, it was originally for a UK audience, and then the question came up: should I change it? And everybody said no, and that's partly because what we're trying to do is get it translated into as many languages as we can. So we started with Dutch because the publisher is there, so we've got the two versions, and now we're looking for a Spanish translator, and we'll do that next, and then hopefully Japanese and Chinese, and we'll just keep going around the world.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That is so cool. I think so many kids would really enjoy it no matter what language it was in. And it helped that you put, the picture of the toilet there when I was saying Lou, and I pointed to the toilet, and said, they had to go potty or whatever, because they are 3 and 4 years old, my grandsons. Yeah, I'll go ahead and say it.
So they're consumed with that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Just like boys, right?
Both boys, yeah. So the 3-year-old just now is pretty much potty trained, but they understand what that is. The only thing I told him grog was just like Kool-Aid,
it's like apple cider. Yeah. It's what sailors drink, to keep from getting scurvy. Lemonade.
Now, one thing I don't know what it is what is sniffing snuff?
Oh.
Snuff. Have you never heard of snuff?
No, what is it?
Snuff is like tobacco, except that you sniff it or you roll it up and you put it between your lip and your gums, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
Snuff boxes.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a clue, but I couldn't put it into words.
Well, you could have Googled it, you guys.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think I did. Cause I've seen it done. So, where did I see it done? Someplace I remember seeing it on television somewhere. That the old colonials.
Dip snuff.
To do it too.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't even think to Google it. Shame on me. But I let them, go ahead and point out to the pictures, and I read the story and that. So it was really good. And I congratulate you. Since this is your first children's book, you did a fantastic job with it. And will you be doing any more?
I'm actually talking now about writing. That's part of why I want to stay home next year, writing an entire album of children's songs and doing a few more books because I'm having so much fun with it. I just feel like it's something that at my age I can get away with.
Are your grandchildren little?
No, they're grown. They're 12 and 14.
Grown.
But my nephew, my middle nephew, there's 3 of them, is just about to have his first child, so I will be a great aunt sometime around December or January.
Isn't that amazing that you're a great aunt almost?
It's weird. That's all
it is.
Weird. Yes.
It is. I'm a great cousin, but I'm not a great aunt yet. So.
Well, give it time, Pam. You know, all things come to those who wait.
Yeah. I will wait because they're kind of young, so I don't want them doing that yet.
They're just a little young. I don't know how you'd get child support out of either of them if there was a problem.
Right?
That's true.
Well, I also wanted to bring up Society's Child, the title of your autobiography as well. Is there an audiobook?
There is, yeah. That's what won the Grammy. Society's Child, the audiobook. But I've got 4 more audiobooks coming out over the next 6 months, all of them by other people, except for the Stars Anthology, which is science fiction stories by my favorite writers based on my songs, and I've got one story in that.
Yeah, for some reason I went on Amazon because I'm one of those slow people and I don't have iTunes yet. Mm-hmm. And I looked for it and I couldn't find it, but I'll have to look again and see if I can find it somewhere else because I really want to.
Yeah, there should be a link. There's a link on Amazon to Audible. Absolutely.
Okay. Maybe that's what it is. It's all this new technology. I'm trying to catch up with it, and it's not always something that I'm able to do. I'm forever calling my daughter or a friend of mine, how do you use this? Where do you find that? That kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. Pat and I always say, we need a 12-year-old.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, they know how to do all this stuff.
So much.
David, you had another question?
Yeah, hold on just a minute.
David, you still there?
I'm right here, yep. Okay.
I was taught the dead air is
yes.
a cardinal sin, so.
Right,
I'm
exactly.
sorry, that's me. I just lost my place. So who would you cast in Society's Child if it was made for a movie?
Oh, my gosh. I have no idea. Oh, good gosh. Well, I mean, of course, I would love to be tall and blonde, so I would put Charlize Theron in there, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know, because you'd need such a wide span of ages, too, that it would be, oh, boy. I'm so glad that's not my problem.
Well, it may come up sooner than later, so maybe think about it.
I'd love to see it made into a movie, if only to be a cautionary tale for other artists. But but in terms of who would play, gosh, I have no idea. I wouldn't even want to speculate on who could deal with that. I know I wouldn't want to go through it again.
Well, you learn from your past, so that's one good thing.
Yeah,
at least most people
do. Absolutely.
Would you want to be involved with? Would you want to be involved with the making of a movie for it?
I don't know, because it has never come up. I have no idea. I have a feeling that would be a bit too time-consuming, but then again, I see the difference. For instance, I'm friends with George R.R. Martin from Game of Thrones, and I know George has been very involved in pretty much every aspect of that, and it's made a huge difference, I believe. So I don't know. I'd probably ask George and a couple of other friends what they think.
Well, put the idea out there. You never know what would happen.
There you go. It's a big universe.
Yes. Now, you have some upcoming tour dates. There's Friday, October 11th through Sunday, October 13th at the Southern Festival of Books in Nashville.
That's right.
And
I'm presenting my book and also working with an author whose book I just read, Maggie Shine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay, so it's a double.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Then October 13th at 2:30 at the Library Auditorium in Nashville, and Tuesday the 29th at the Bluebird Cafe in Nashville. And there, for our listeners, there's more dates, so please check out to see if Janice will be near you, and go, see her and learn about her books and everything, and bring the kids.
Sam. I appreciate it.
I want to go to Nashville.
Yeah, Nashville's great.
And that's at
Janice. A couple of minutes.
JaniceIan.com.
Thank
you. We'll wrap up now for you so you can go. And I'll let the listeners know where they can follow you on Twitter and Facebook and so on.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And I want to thank you for joining us today and taking time out of your busy schedule. And please keep in touch. We'd love to hear back from you when you have more stuff out there.
Pam. Thanks. And Dave, good luck.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Enjoy your evening.
Enjoy the kids. Bye-bye.